The old wooden house, with its dripping windows and moss-covered roof, stood as a silent witness to the passage of time. Inside, Elara, a woman with hair as white as snow and eyes as blue as the winter sky, lived in isolation, trapped by a painful past. Her world was confined to the small house, her monotonous routine, and the melancholic song of a gray bird that landed on the same window every day. Every corner of the house, every piece of furniture, and every crack in the wall whispered stories of a lost love and a missing child. The past, like a relentless shadow, haunted her, stealing the light from her days. The little bird, a small messenger of hope, was her only link to the outside world. Its presence, though small, brought unexpected comfort to Elara's soul. Its song, both melodic and sad, was the only sound that filled the silence of the house, echoing the memories she tried to forget. But the past, like an unstoppable river, would not be tamed. The old letters hidden in an antique chest and the yellowed photographs tied with satin ribbons whispered a secret Elara refused to confront. Each night, the bird sang its song of hope, yet Elara's loneliness grew like a thorny plant. One day, a boy named Miguel, with bright eyes and a heart full of curiosity, arrived in the village. Drawn by the bird's song, Miguel went to Elara's house, where the beauty of the place contrasted with the sadness that surrounded it. With his youthful innocence, he could not grasp the deep sorrow that dwelled in the old woman's heart. It was a contrast between the purity of youth and the burden of the past. His presence, though timid, represented renewed hope for Elara, a light amidst the darkness. With his innocent soul, he was the necessary counterpoint to Elara's solitude, a catalyst for the truth she so feared. The past, like a dark cloud, threatened to eclipse Elara's present. Painful memories, like sharp knives, pierced her soul. Each passing day made her heart heavier and her hope fainter. But the bird's song, a small beacon in the darkness, reminded her that life continued even amidst suffering. Miguel, with his bright eyes, watched her from a distance, feeling deep empathy for her pain. His presence was an invitation to hope, a promise that the truth, no matter how painful, could set her free. And the bird, like a faithful messenger, waited patiently, attuned to every whisper of destiny. The village of Hazel, nestled in a lush valley, was a place of contrasts. Dark wooden houses with slate roofs leaned against one another as if embracing. The air, filled with the sense of pine and damp earth, carried the weight of tradition and the whispers of ancestral secrets. The river snaked through the valley, reflecting the cloudy sky, a mirror for the melancholy that hung over the village. Nature, though abundant, seemed to press down on the population, as if it bore the burden of their stories. Elara, the protagonist, was a 70-year-old woman with gray eyes as deep as the waters of a serene lake. Her past, like a dark cloud, cloaked her in a veil of sorrow. A missing son, a lost love, and a history weighed down by pain were the burdens she bore in silence. Her home, a sanctuary of memories and regrets, was her only refuge. Her routine was a painful ritual, a repetitive cycle of remembering and forgetting. Her only solace was the small bird that landed on her window every day. Miguel, a 20-year-old young man with a curious gaze and a heart full of hope, was the perfect contrast to Elara. He had come to the village in search of adventure, drawn by the bird's song. His past was different, marked by an unconditional love for nature and an unrelenting pursuit of stories and secrets. Miguel, with his innocence, could not fully grasp the depth of Elara's pain, but felt a deep empathy for her. His presence was like a ray of sunlight piercing the darkness, bringing renewed hope. The relationship between Elara and Miguel was tense, but marked by mutual respect. She, burdened by the past, tried to hide, while he, with his curiosity, sought to connect. The village, with its narrow streets and old houses, became the stage for the meeting of these two souls, a setting for a story of love, forgiveness, and hope. The small bird, a silent observer, witnessed the dance between past and future, between sorrow and hope. Each day, its small and fragile presence was a symbol of resilience. The village's atmosphere was steeped in mystery. The story of Elara's family, one with a shadowy past, was a secret kept under lock and key. What had happened to the missing son? What was the secret Elara worked so hard to hide? The answer, like a precious gem, lay hidden in the heart of the village, waiting to be uncovered. Every corner of Elara's house, every piece of furniture, every crack in the wall whispered a secret, a fragment of a story waiting to be pieced together. And Miguel, with his innocence, was the key to unlocking those secrets. The bird's song, once a gentle melody, now echoed as a lament. A concealed letter, found by Miguel, revealed a shocking secret. Elara's missing son had not been lost, but taken by the war. The once peaceful village now buzzed with suspicion. An old enemy re-emerged, and the harsh, unyielding truth threatened to shatter Elara's fragile hope. Elara, consumed by pain and uncertainty, had a single goal: to uncover the truth about her son's whereabouts. The letter, with its faded handwriting, pointed to a distant war, a conflict that had devastated the region. Her hope, as delicate as a thread of silk, rested on the promise of finding her son and reconciling with her past. Miguel, driven by his curiosity and compassion, set out to help Elara uncover the mystery. His goal was to find a way to ease the old woman's pain, and in doing so, reveal the secrets of the village. The initial obstacles were numerous. The village, steeped in fear and distrust, clung tightly to its secrets. The residents, frightened by the lingering shadow of conflict, dreaded the truth. The past, like a thick fog, obscured Miguel and Elara's path, turning their search for answers into a labyrinth of suspicions and lies. Whispered rumors in dark corners and words heavy with prejudice were the first hurdles they had to overcome. The mutual distrust among the villagers, fueled by fear, was an unyielding barrier. The relationship between Elara and Miguel, initially timid, began to blossom. He, with his innocence, offered her support and encouragement, while she, with her experience, taught him the art of persistence in the pursuit of truth. Their friendship, however, was not without challenges. Elara's past, laden with sorrow, threatened to drive them apart, but their connection, nurtured by a shared purpose, grew stronger each day. Their journey together became a burden to share, a trial to overcome in unison. A subplot emerged involving an old acquaintance of Elara's, a mysterious and wealthy man named Ricardo. His past was intricately tied to the conflict, and his goal now was to prevent the truth from coming to light to protect his interests. Ricardo, with his influence and wealth, posed a constant threat to Elara and Miguel's journey. His presence was a looming obstacle, and his motivations, shrouded in darkness and selfishness, stood in stark contrast to the purity of Elara and Miguel's quest. Miguel's objective evolved. It was no longer just about helping Elara find her son. He realized he needed to uncover the village's secrets, the ones entangling Ricardo and the conflict. His curiosity, once innocent, was now driven by a need for justice and a desire to understand the complexity of the village's history. The search for truth now extended beyond Elara's missing son, becoming a quest for a deeper, more encompassing truth. The village, with its secrets and mysteries, became the stage for this new journey. The bird's song, which once brought fleeting peace, now carried unbearable tension. One day, the song abruptly stopped, leaving a heavy silence that hung over the village. Elara, with a tight heart, felt a growing unease, a premonition that something terrible was about to happen. The routine that once comforted her now felt like a prison, trapping her in a cycle of pain and uncertainty. The silence, heavy and oppressive, was more terrifying than any sound. The sudden and unexpected change in the bird's routine served as the incitement to action. Elara, driven by the need to understand the disappearance of its song, felt an uncontrollable urgency. Her search for the truth, once slow and cautious, transformed into a race against time. The disappearance of the bird's song, her faithful messenger, posed a threat to her sanity. Her life, once a canvas of melancholy, was now the stage for a battle for the truth. Miguel, alert to the abrupt shift, felt compelled to act. His curiosity, once innocent, was now fueled by growing concern. The absence of the bird's song, his trusted companion, deeply disturbed him. His hope, once a gentle ray of sunlight, now burned with a fiercer flame. The need to uncover the truth behind the song's disappearance became a responsibility he could not ignore. The tension in the village escalated rapidly. Whispers and suspicious glances replaced the usual peace. Rumors about an old enemy, Ricardo, resurfaced, fueled by the silence and uncertainty. The village, once serene, became a battleground where truth and lies clashed. The silence, once a comfort, now felt like a threat, a warning that something dark was approaching. The incitement, the sudden interruption of the bird's song, created an urgency that spurred Elara and Miguel into action. Their quest for the truth, once an exercise in patience, became a race against time. The truth, once a distant mystery, was now within reach, but enshrouded in a web of suspicions and lies. The incitement was the catalyst, the spark that ignited their determination, turning them into tireless detectives on the hunt for answers. The deafening silence following the bird's disappearance brought with it a wave of tension that settled over the village of Hazel. Elara, with a heavy heart, felt more isolated than ever, trapped in a past that refused to release her. Her quest for the truth, now relentless, pushed her to confront her deepest fears. Miguel, at her side, found himself increasingly entangled in the web of secrets the village harbored. His innocence was being tested. New characters emerged, each with a shadowy past and hidden motives. An old woman named Sophia, with piercing eyes and a mysterious history, began offering cryptic clues, but at a price, a secret she held tightly. Her enigmatic presence brought both hope and new uncertainties. Her words, though vague, carried a glimmer of possibility. The village, once tranquil, now buzzed with intrigue and secrets. As the layers of the mystery unraveled, Elara and Miguel found themselves navigating a landscape of deception, fear, and fleeting hope. The silence of the bird was no longer just an absence. It had become a symbol of the darkness they needed to face. Together, they pressed forward, determined to break the chains of the past and uncover the truth, no matter the cost. A young man named Ju, with a sharp gaze and a restless mind, emerged as an unexpected ally. Fascinated by Elara's story, he decided to join her quest, offering his knowledge and keen insight. His assistance, though unforeseen, brought a fresh perspective, opening new doors to the truth. The friendship between the three strengthened, and their journey together grew more intense. The search for clues took them to unexpected places, beyond the boundaries of the village. An overgrown cemetery revealed ancient inscriptions, and an old chest hidden in a dark cellar contained historical documents. Each discovery was a piece of a complex puzzle, every clue a step closer to the truth. Their journey became a labyrinth of enigmas, each more intricate than the last. The village, with its narrow streets and ancient houses, became a stage for mystery. Whispered conversations, furtive glances, and secrets hidden in every corner created an atmosphere thick with suspense. The secrets, like deep roots, were gradually unearthed, each leading to a new challenge. With every step, Elara and Miguel felt closer to the truth, but also increasingly threatened. The old enemy, Ricardo, remained a menacing figure. His influence and wealth cast a long shadow over the village. His presence was a constant obstacle, but also a crucial piece of the puzzle. His motivations, though still murky, were inextricably linked to the truth, and his conflict with Elara and Miguel intensified. The quest for the truth had turned into a fight for survival. The tension in the village of Hazel grew by the day, fueled by Elara and Miguel's discoveries. Each new clue revealed a darker and more intricate truth, exposing a shadowy past that threatened to destabilize the community. The silence, once oppressive, now felt like the calm before the storm. The search for the truth had become a battle, not just for answers, but for survival. The relationship between Elara and Miguel grew strained, challenged by new dilemmas. Elara, burdened by the weight of her past, felt increasingly trapped in her pain, while Miguel, with his innocence, struggled to comprehend the depth of her sorrow. Their friendship, once a source of hope, was now tested by a whirlwind of secrets and suspicions. Love, once a guiding beacon, now burned with the fierce intensity of truth. The subplot involving Ricardo became even more threatening. His influence in the village, once subtle, was now undeniable. He, with his ruthless methods, sought to obstruct Elara and Miguel's search, using his wealth and power to manipulate the situation. His motivation, now more apparent, was to protect his interests, even if it meant sacrificing the truth. His fight against Elara and Miguel turned into a showdown of strength and willpower. Sophia, the enigmatic old woman, unveiled an even more disturbing secret. Her story, tied to the village's past, revealed a broader conspiracy, a web of betrayal and manipulation involving characters who once seemed innocent. Her revelation brought a fresh wave of suspicion, throwing everyone's trust into doubt. The truth, once a ray of hope, now felt like a sharp blade. Ju, the young ally, faced personal dilemmas as his connection to Ricardo, though seemingly distant, proved deeper than he had imagined. His loyalty was tested, his standing in the village threatened. His commitment to Elara and Miguel came under scrutiny, and his own truth was at risk. His pursuit of the truth became a battle for his very soul. The village, with its narrow streets and ancient houses, had transformed into a stage for a silent battle where masks were falling and true intentions were revealed. The weight of the truth, like an enormous stone, threatened to crush everyone caught in its grasp. The tension was palpable. Every whisper, every glance, every gesture brought them closer to the truth, which loomed over them, threatening to unravel everything they knew. The village was being shaken to its very foundations. The bird's song, now a distant echo, heralded the approach of the climax. Elara, with a heavy heart, felt herself drawing closer to the truth, but also sensed the growing danger. The once quiet village now buzzed with suspicion and intrigue. With each revelation, the past grew more complex and painful. The truth, like a sharp sword, threatened to cut through them all. An unexpected encounter between Elara and Ricardo in the heart of the village became a pivotal turning point. The tense conversation, heavy with accusations, revealed Ricardo's true motivation, a secret he had fought hard to keep hidden. His past, intricately tied to the conflict, proved darker than anyone had imagined. His goal, once obscure, now became clear, but also cruel. The revelation left Elara more determined than ever, yet also more vulnerable. Ju, the young ally, faced a moral dilemma. His loyalty to Elara and Miguel was being tested as he was forced to choose between the truth and his own safety. His decision, both impactful and unexpected, revealed a new dimension to the conspiracy. His past, long hidden, surfaced, making him a critical piece in the puzzle of the truth. Sophia, the enigmatic old woman, held the key to understanding the conspiracy. Her revelation, like a beam of light, cut through the darkness that enveloped the village. Her past, intricately linked to the village's story, unveiled a surprising truth, a web of betrayal and manipulation that involved all its inhabitants. Her disclosure brought a new level of understanding, but also heightened the tension. As the layers of deceit unraveled, the village became a battlefield of clashing truths, unearthing a dark history that threatened to engulf everyone. The climax loomed, and the stakes had never been higher. Elara, Miguel, Ju, and Sophia stood on the brink of uncovering a truth that could change everything or destroy it all. Miguel, driven by his quest for the truth, confronted his own fears and insecurities. His innocence, once a shield, had become armor. His determination grew, revealing an inner strength he had not known. His personal journey was inextricably tied to the village's search for truth. His future, uncertain and unknowable, was bound to the fate of the village. The village, with its narrow streets and ancient houses, became the stage for a final confrontation. The tension was palpable, the air thick with mystery. Secrets, like serpents, slithered into the open, each one leading to a new challenge. The truth, like a rushing river, drew closer, threatening to upend everything they thought they knew. The village was on the brink of transformation. The village of Hazel, heavy with suspense, carried the atmosphere of an impending showdown. Elara, burdened by the weight of her quest, prepared for the climax, while Miguel and Ju, her steadfast allies, fortified their bonds. With every step, the village's past materialized, making the present a struggle for survival. Small confrontations arose like tremors before an earthquake. Suspicion and mistrust among the villagers grew more intense, each conversation laced with hidden truths and misunderstandings. The truth, like a swelling river, began to reveal its depths, exposing the fragility of trust and the complexity of human relationships. A clandestine group, led by a shadowy figure, began to form in secret. Their loyalties were ambiguous, their objectives hidden. Their actions, though subtle, cast long shadows over the village, creating an atmosphere of distrust and uncertainty. Their presence was both a warning and a threat to Elara and Miguel's pursuit of the truth. The search for clues took them to unexpected places, hidden caches and forgotten memories. Each discovery, like a small piece of a puzzle, contributed to unraveling the conspiracy. The village, with its narrow streets and ancient houses, served as a backdrop for the unveiling of secrets, a stage for the ultimate reckoning. Ju, with his deep understanding of the village's history, began to trace the threads connecting the various characters and their secrets. His insight, combined with Elara's experience and Miguel's determination, enabled them to solve enigmas and face challenges. Their alliance proved critical in resolving the mounting conflicts. The minor disputes among villagers, once insignificant, now signaled a much larger battle. Whispers and intrigues revealed just how deeply the conflict ran. With each revelation, the village's landscape shifted, becoming more hostile and threatening. The search for truth had transformed into a fight for survival. As the final pieces of the puzzle came together, Hazel stood on the edge of revelation. Miguel, Elara, Ju, and the village itself faced a climactic moment that would redefine their past and future. The truth was no longer just a goal, it had become their only path to freedom, even at the risk of everything they held dear. The tension in the village of Hazel reached its breaking point. Elara, her heart heavy, felt herself nearing the final confrontation, while Miguel and Ju, her steadfast allies, braced for the ultimate challenges. The truth, like a sharp blade, threatened to expose all the village's secrets. The final obstacles arose like ghosts from the past. An anonymous letter, laden with threats, reached Elara, warning of the revelation of her deepest secrets. Fear, like a thick fog, hung over the village, clouding everyone's judgment. The quest for truth had morphed into a fight for survival. The enigmatic figure leading the secret group emerged as a new menace. Their objectives, once shrouded in mystery, became clear: to protect their interests, even at the cost of the truth. Their calculated and ruthless actions threatened to destabilize the village. Their presence was a clear sign that the final confrontation was imminent. The revelation of a long-hidden family secret added a new layer of complexity. A dark truth, tied to the village's troubled past, came to light, challenging the loyalties of its inhabitants. The truth, like a distorted mirror, reflected the fragility of human connections. The village stood on the brink of being divided by an abyss of lies and secrets. Ju, confronted with his own history, faced a crucial decision. His once unwavering loyalty was now tested. His choice, both impactful and unexpected, would alter the course of the village's history. His personal journey was deeply entwined with the community's fate. Miguel, driven by the relentless pursuit of truth, felt the pressure mounting. His once unshakable resolve was now tested by the final challenges. His inner strength was his only weapon against the darkness threatening to engulf the village. His decisions would shape the future of everyone involved. The various narrative threads, like intertwined strands, converged toward the decisive moment. The truth, like a ray of sunlight, began to pierce through, illuminating the secrets and hidden intentions. The village, with its narrow streets and ancient houses, became the stage for a final showdown, where truth and lies would clash in a battle for survival. The bird's song, now a desperate cry, heralded the beginning of the final confrontation. Elara, Miguel, and Ju, united in their search for truth, faced Ricardo and his secret group in the heart of the village. The tension was palpable, the air thick with mystery and danger. The truth, like a sharp blade, was poised to cut through the bonds of deception. As the confrontation unfolded, the stakes grew higher, and the village held its breath, awaiting the resolution that would either shatter or rebuild the lives of everyone involved. The battle for truth was no longer just a quest, it had become a reckoning. The confrontation was intense and brutal. Ricardo, wielding his power and influence, sought to control the situation, but the determination of Elara, Miguel's sharp insight, and Ju's courage proved relentless. Every word, every gesture, every glance became a weapon in the battle for truth. The village, with its narrow streets and ancient houses, transformed into the stage for an epic showdown. The revelation of the long-guarded family secret was the turning point. A dark truth tied to the village's troubled past came to light, exposing the conspiracy and unveiling Ricardo's true intentions. The truth, like a ray of light, dispelled the darkness that had enshrouded the village. The weight of lies crumbled, revealing the fragility of manipulation. Ju, with a bold and courageous decision, unveiled his connection to Ricardo, forcing him to disclose his real motivations. His impactful and unexpected choice became the catalyst for Ricardo's downfall. Ju's personal journey culminated in the village's liberation. The truth, like a beacon of hope, illuminated the path forward. Elara, her heart heavy but resolute, confronted Ricardo, exposing his selfish motives and lust for power. Her struggle, charged with emotion and pain, culminated in Ricardo's defeat. Her journey, scarred by suffering and loss, finally reached its end. The truth, like a soothing balm, brought peace to her soul. Miguel, with his innocence transformed into strength, found peace in the truth. His quest, marked by challenges and sacrifices, had reached its purpose. His journey, a guiding light in the darkness, steered the village toward liberation. The truth, like sunlight breaking through the clouds, illuminated a new path for the future. The village, its secrets laid bare, was ready for a fresh start, a chance to embrace truth and rebuild. The village of Hazel, shaken by the storm of truth, stood amidst ruins, but ruins filled with hope. Elara, her heart still heavy, but her spirit renewed, felt more alive than ever. The past, though painful, had shaped her, making her stronger and more resilient. Reconciliation, slow and painful, began to take root among the villagers. Secrets, now exposed to the light of day, were replaced with a commitment to honesty and transparency. The village, once divided by suspicion and distrust, now moved toward an uncertain but hopeful future. The weight of lies had been lifted, and a new era began to dawn. Miguel, his innocence transformed into wisdom, discovered his own truth. His journey, marked by trials and losses, culminated in a profound understanding of the past and the importance of justice. His future, still uncertain, was now filled with hope and resolve. He had learned to fight for truth and emerged stronger for it. The villagers of Hazel, though battered, stood poised to rebuild not just their homes, but their community. With the truth as their foundation, they embraced the promise of a brighter, more united tomorrow. Ju, with his sharp insight and courage, found his own redemption. His journey, initially shrouded in uncertainty, proved essential to resolving the conflict. His future, now illuminated by the truth, carried both responsibility and hope. He had learned the vital importance of using knowledge for good. The bird, a symbol of hope, returned to its daily song, stronger and more melodious than ever. Its song, now a hymn to resilience, hope, and the pursuit of truth, echoed across the village. Hazel, with its scars still visible, but its heart open to reconciliation, prepared for a brighter future. Embrace the truth, and your future will shine. The cycle of pain and redemption had come to an end. The village of Hazel, its inhabitants stronger and more united, stood ready to embrace a future marked by justice and hope. Learn from the mistakes of the past and build a brighter tomorrow. Accept the truth, and together, rebuild your future.